Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action-packed session. Tonight, we're going to break down the secret to getting profitable off-market deals. So if you're like most new real estate investors, you probably have been struggling to get profitable off-market deals. You're feeling priced out in certain markets. Like you can't find a deal if you're in places like California, New York, New Jersey, Colorado. We're going to break down some of the secrets so that you can get past those hurdles and get to the next level. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribed, and I'll share some free content with you that'll show you how to acquire properties for pennies on a dollar all across the country. Don't want to miss out on that free offer. So let's dive straight into this thing, guys. We don't have a lot of time. A bit of housekeeping. We just had a real estate ride along tour this Saturday. We had about 25 investors from all across the country who spent the day, rocked with me. We saw about 17 properties in different phases of full gut rehab. We're doing another ride along tour in November. If you want to be a part of it, make sure you reach out ASAP because these things sell out fast. And we can only bring out maybe 20, anywhere from 20 to 25 investors on any given tour. It seems like they all sell out. So if you want to be a part of it, reach out, DM me, email me, text me, ride along, and become a part of that. If you're interested in any of our done for you programs, we have two of them. One is our boots on the ground program where we find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage for you in Philly. We manage for 5%. If you want me and my team to just build you houses and do it all for you, reach out about the boots on the ground program. And then if you want to do deals in your backyard, if you're struggling to do some of the stuff we talk about today, finding profitable off-market deals, we have a plug and play program where we will source profitable off-market deals straight from the kitchen table and bring them right to you fully vetted. So if you need help with that, just reach out about plug and play, boots on the ground, any of our done for you options, and we will get you dialed in. How we doing, Pete? So let's jump straight into this. And guys, if you have any questions, drop them on the chat, drop them in the comment section, and we will answer those. But we are going to rock and roll. So if you're like most new real estate investors, you're probably struggling to do a lot of things, find profitable deals, finding tenants, running comps and knowing your ARVs, managing contractors, even finding good contractors these days can be tough. Building rehab budgets can be very difficult. Hey, how we doing, Robin? Robin was out rocking with us on a ride along tour. Or connecting with lenders. I found that most people really don't know who the good lenders are. Like, how do I get in front of the right lenders? Is this a good lender? Is this a bad lender? If you've been struggling with that, what you're going to want to do is come out and spend a day with me tomorrow night. Join me Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do another webinar, done for you real estate investing webinar, where I'm going to break down the easy way to scale a cash flowing rental property portfolio in the next 12 months or less without doing the heavy lifting. So if you want to know how people are leveraging turnkey investing systems or just tapping into done for you, which most people don't offer done for you, make sure you reach out and tap in tomorrow night. Just text me, DM me, however you got here, just reach out and we will get you dialed into that free webinar training where I'll break down that done for you process. And I know many of you are already on that list, already registered, which is how you got here. So guys, a little bit of mindset training. There's only two things in real estate that you should focus yourself on, knowledge or money. And you guys many of you have heard me say this before. There's two things in real estate, knowledge and money. The less you have of one, the more you need of the other. So if you're just getting started, there's probably a lot of fear, especially if you're starting with very little money, because you're going into the unknown. You're trying to get started in this game, but you don't have a lot of knowledge. You kind of have that feeling like I could get burned. What's going to happen? You need to invest in knowledge. You need to learn the game before you dive in. Like if I had $20,000 to my name right now, I would be investing in education first because it's so easy to get burned out here. It's so easy for a contractor to go rogue and run off with 50 grand like they did to me on my first deal. That can happen easily. So if you don't have the knowledge, you can't protect yourself. Getting educated in real estate, some people are like, well, if I have 20K, I could just take my 20, I'll put that into a deal. Why would I put even like 5 into education? It's like, because that 5 you put in the education is going to protect you from getting burned for 50. And you don't need to have 50 grand to get burned for 50. You could take out a loan, pay a contractor out of the loan money and get burned, have them run away and still be on the hook for that 50. So make sure, like, if you're starting off with tons of money, if you have half a million, a million, then you don't need to really learn anything. Just go out and blow your money until you figure it out. But if you're starting from the bottom, like most of us, like I did, you need to focus on knowledge first. The more knowledge you have, the less money you need. So if you have a lot of knowledge, you might only need 10 to 15K to get into the game versus somebody who doesn't have knowledge. They're parking 20% down on deals. It's going to cost them a lot more. So knowledge is definitely a big key. Billy J said, "Yeah, knowledge is the key." Who was the person that burned you? Um, I won't say the guy's name who burned me, but and I don't know that he's still out there. Mike Corpingos said 20K for the education. You can get educated. You can get my millions of dollars worth of game, wins and losses, because you will learn from my wins, and you learn more from your own losses or other people's losses than you even do from your own wins or other people's wins at times. You can click the link in description, click the link in bio, click the link in description, and you can tap into our 24/7 cash flow community for $27. And you can get access to our VIP course content. So no, it doesn't cost you 20K to get educated, although there are a lot of courses out there. I would call like a guru course that are like 30, 40K. Our done for you programs don't even cost that much. Like, we'll go out and build you a house for less than that. But even if it was 20K, 20K could save you, from getting burned for 50 or 100. I've heard of guys getting burned for $250,000 up to $500,000. That biggest story was $500,000 that I heard. So you just want to protect yourself and make sure you're not getting burned out here. But keep that knowledge or money thing in mind, because at the highest level, if you think about it, if you had knowledge of what we'll talk about today, finding profitable off-market deals, you could get the money, you could raise the money. And there are hundreds and hundreds of lenders out there that'll just give you the money if you can find the profitable deals and bring it to them and get them connected. Because the lenders, they got to lend, they got to put that money to work. So they're looking for the people with the knowledge and the resources. So become a person with knowledge and resources, and you will win. Much better and much faster. How we doing? Tapping in from South Florida. So let's get into this thing, guys. Step one for the secrets to finding profitable off-market deals. Step one is just focusing on one market. So many people get this step wrong. I'm trying to grab a charger here. So many people get this step wrong because they watch too much TV. They listen to too much. I'll call it like Grant Cardone theory, where it's like, hey, you got to start with these big deals, and you have to do all this stuff, and they have shiny bell syndrome, where they don't know what to do. The average new investor doesn't know whether to do a single family, a multifamily, a commercial, whether to buy and flip, buy and hold, wholesale, creative financing, sub to. There's all these different things going on, and then there's all these markets that you can do them in. And most of the time when I'm talking to a new investor, they're thinking of investing in maybe 3 or 4 markets. And I'm like, bro, you got to pick one market, because you can't hit what you can't see. So if you're thinking about investing in 3 to 4 markets right now, oh, I could go to Jersey, Delaware, Philly, or Connecticut. They're all good. Yeah, they all have some pros and cons. They can all be good. But if you don't focus on one, you can never get traction. Because if you don't have one market, you can't build out the contractor, the architect, the engineer, the lender, the permit expediter, the insurance man. You can't, the realtor, the wholesale network. You can't dive into the market until you pick one. So narrow it down. It's kind of like if you were going to college, like picking your college criteria. Narrow this thing down to 1 or 2 cities, and then pick one, whatever the best one is. Out of this list of the top 10 cash flow cities in the country, I would screenshot that if I were you guys, especially if any of these are near or around your backyard. Out of the top 10, I pick Philly. I grew up in Philly. I have a lot of resources and relationships there. I built hundreds of houses there. That's where we do our boots on the ground program, where we find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage for you. So we do the done for you there. That's one of my favorite markets. I believe it's the best out of the top 10 cash flow cities. It's the largest out of the top 10 cash flow cities as well. So it's the 6th largest city in America, sister city to New York. So a lot going for it. But in focusing on Philly, I have all those resources that I named. right there. I have other markets where I have them, like Baltimore, I have those relationships. But even though I can go into Baltimore and I've been doing deals in Baltimore for over a decade, I still like Philly as a predominant market, Baltimore as a secondary. So have a primary market that you focus on and you put all your time into, and then maybe get a secondary market in case your primary market dries up. If you're in a bad market, you got to invest out of state. You got to get over that fear factor and you have to go where the money is, wherever the cash flow is, get up and go. We have the technology, we have the smartphones, we have the systems. You can track the information. You can make this happen. And that's what we teach you how to do in a 24/7 cash flow university. We're all about out of state investing wherever the money is. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat section, drop them in the comment section, and we will answer your questions. And once again, if you're interested in any of our programs, we'll have another real estate ride along tour on on a Saturday in November, probably like the second Saturday of November. I'll come up with the exact date, so we'll rock that out for you guys. And then we have our done for you programs. If you want me and my team to find you profitable off market deals in any of these markets that we're looking at now, your backyard, all you have to do is reach out, ask about our plug and play program. We can get you tapped into that. We do have exclusivity though on cities. We already have, I believe, 2 people in Baltimore, and we have a cap. We won't take more than like 3 people in a location. So just to not create too much off-market competition. So definitely reach out if you're interested, because people are going to take these top markets up first. And then we have the boots on the ground program where we find finance, rehab, tenant manage for you. That's in Philly. If you want to just piggyback on me and my team and just have us do it all for you. And there's so many benefits to piggybacking. On the back end of my I'm over 400 now on my 400 rehabs. Piggybacking on the tail end of that, there's a lot of stuff that's streamlined naturally because hundreds of deals have been done in a centralized location. Okay, so part 2 of focusing on that market is these are Zillow's predictions for the hottest housing markets of 2025. These are some good markets to buy and flip in. I would say these are the top 10 cash flow cities. So where you should buy and hold. If you are more of a buy and flipper by nature or a wholesaler, these 10 can be some really good markets to actually flip in. And you can see Philadelphia is number 5 on Zillow's top 10. People are always asking, why Philly? Why are you doing Philly? Because it's a top 10 market. And it's the 6th largest city in America, which means there's a lot of inventory. There's a lot of opportunity. So, it's on top 5s, it's on top 10s. It makes sense. When you have markets that you can dominate that are on the top 10, you don't look elsewhere. You focus in, you dial in, because those are windows of opportunity. It's arrogant to believe that these opportunities will last forever. So windows of opportunity you take advantage of. Looks like we had a couple of questions. DJ Westbrook said, I was looking for house hacking and how to live free in Philly. Most of the places I found on the MLS, I'm still coming out of pocket $400 to $800 a month for my portion. Is that normal? I mean, it can be normal, but I think it's a matter of deal sourcing. Like, I know specifically what deals will cash flow or put you in a cash positive position in a market like Philly as multifamilies. So there are going to be wrinkles. Like, you might be looking for, hey, I want the biggest triplexes. I'm not looking for the biggest triplexes. I might be looking for duplexes with a finished basement that could be lived in. And the duplex might have a higher bath or bedroom count where I can get more cash flow out of the duplex. I can buy it lower. There's more beds stuffed in there because there's not an extra kitchen or dining room, living room like there would be in that triplex. So a bigger footprint of beds that I can cash flow, that's going to put me in a much better position. So I think it's coming down to your deal mix. We need to get in the right deal. You need the duplexes or the triplexes that you can buy cheap. They may need some rehab. So you may need the ability to bring a crew in there and get some work done because it's a competitive market. When there are markets that are competitive, what that means is that you need to create barriers to entry. How do you do that? You start to take steps up. in terms of difficulty. So you add value in your rehab. You might turn 3 beds into 4 beds to increase ARVs and cash flow. That boxes out competition that doesn't know how to do that. So you just keep upping your game slightly. You only need to be 1% better than the competition in this space to make serious money. So you don't need to be that much better. So yeah, I think that would be like just getting dialed in, man. That's more of a coaching thing if that's what you want to do. I mean, you can figure it out on your own and you can kind of keep thinking it through. But coaching will just get you dialed in and get you the deal you want. And to me, the most important thing that you can do right now is just one successful deal. Just one. If you could do one, you could do 100. Not that you need to do 100. Don't let 100 intimidate you. 100 intimidated me. I've done over 400 now in really under a decade if I go pound for pound. So don't let 100 intimidate you. It's not about the number. You could be fully retired off of 15 to 20 deals. 100 is possible though, because it's doing the same thing over and over again. And then just at scale. So instead of doing one deal at a time, you could do 5 at a time. Right now, if you're brand new, the thought of doing one deal, not even actually doing it, but just the thought of doing one deal is overwhelming. After you do one deal, the thought of doing 5 deals will be overwhelming, but then you'll do it. Then once you're able to do 5 at once, you will look back at doing one deal at a time and be like, that was a freaking joke. Something that you were super intimidated by, one deal, oh my God, what could happen, will become a joke to you. You'll be like, I could do that blindfolded with my hands tied behind my back. Light work, easy work. That's a warm-up set. And then 5 could feel like that if you go to 20 at once or 15 at once. You'd be like, man, 5 at once, I could freaking be watching TV all day. So the goal is to just do one to build the muscle to get to that level where you can now do multiple. That's also why you don't need to worry about whatever your income goal is. A lot of you, hey, I want to get to 10,000 a month. How many houses will I need? How long is that going to take? 10 houses. You don't know how long that's going to take. That's the truth. You don't know. And you don't want to know, quite frankly. You don't have that crystal ball. What I can tell you is my goal was to do 10 deals in 10 years. That was my goal. 10 deals in 10 years. I've done over 400 in less than 10. So your goal doesn't matter. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is how quickly can you execute on one deal and get comfortable. For some of you, that one deal is an out-of-state deal. The reason you can't get started is because you're afraid to go out of state. And you won't solve your problem by just going turnkey or getting tapped in or getting educated. You just are staying stuck in, I'm afraid to go out of state and my market sucks. Just solve the problem. Go out of state, get one done. I've seen people, I personally, for many people, we've built over 100 houses just in our one of our done for you programs for clients from across the country. I've seen people come in and get 5 houses, get leased up, and kind of keep running. So it's more than a question of, is it possible? I've seen it happen and been a part of this happening for many, many, many people. Many, many people who all had the same doubts. Doubts don't matter. And they're not always an indicator. You need to get educated to know what a bad deal and what a scam contractor looks like. That's why I don't need to say the scam contractor's name that I ran into. His name is unimportant. His methods are very important. How did he run the scam? How did he do it? What do you look out for? Because it's obvious. So it's the method that needs to be taught, not the person. The person's irrelevant. The lesson is very valuable, though. It's in the course content, but it's something that, I can always break down to various levels. But that's what I would say there. How can a house hack in Ohio? You just got a house hack. The question itself, how can I house hack in Ohio, is kind of like it's just a question of house hacking. If you could house hack in Philly, you could house hack in Ohio. I could house hack anywhere in America that had the deal flow that was conducive to house hacking, or a strategy like house hacking in Ohio. You just find a multifamily, you live in one unit, you rent out the others. House hacking in San Jose, California is like building an ADU, living there, building the ADU, renting it out, then moving, maybe selling as the exit. It depends on many factors. So in Ohio, I would say it's very easy. I would, if you feel like you need help, I would tap into the 24/7 cash flow community. The cool thing about the community, and people see this when they ask questions, it's like people jump in and start answering your questions in the community. We have lenders, we have contractors, architects, um, appraisers. We have a lot of relationships in there that you can use to get to the next level. So I would recommend, I mean, hell, for $27, I mean, you really have no idea what I've gone through to get that level of game that I put into that. I went through everything. All the schools of hard knocks, house collapsing, big mistakes, 30K buy that was just a bust, contractors running off, contractors stealing. Somebody asked about squatters, break-ins, all of it. It's all in the content. So it's like you can go through all of that. If you think this is like some TV show, it ain't a TV show. You go through it, you're going to feel that pain. You're going to bleed. You're going to bleed $150,000 for being arrogant enough to not drop 27 on your knowledge. It's just a part of it, because you're going to pay one way or the other, the easy way or the hard way. The hard way is school of hard knocks. And it's kind of a funny thing, because most people, about 10% of people, like let's say there was a room of 100 people who are interested in mentorship. Only 10% of people actually choose mentorship. The other 90 can never get over the belief that they're the chosen one, they're the smart one, and they're going to do it without getting burned. They can't get over that hump. So they go out in the school of hard knocks and get crushed. Out of the school of hard knocks, less than 10% survive. Survival rate probably 2 to 5%. People get put back. So you have to be careful. You can't be penny wise, pound foolish. I was talking to one guy, right? And we're talking about Philly versus San Antonio. I believe San Antonio. And he's telling me, I'm telling him the cash flow. Hey, you get a multi in Philly. Let's say you left 20 grand in a duplex. It could cash flow $1,000 a month, easy. And he's like, I get so much more. I buy new construction, and I get way more cash flow than that. I'm like, yeah, but if you're buying new construction, you're parking 20 to 25% down. You're dropping 100K to 150K a deal. I say, my cash on cash return at $20,000 with 12 coming in, a 60% cash on cash return. You get all your money back in a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Even if you're getting more cash flow off of that, how much 150Ks can you park? Versus parking 20, you could get 6 of them. So I said, so you're saying if I cash flow 1,000, your property cash flow is 2,000. Your strategy is better, but I could get 6 of these with your 150K. So now I'm cash flowing 6,000 a month to your 2,000 a month. I'm 3 times better than you. You're penny wise, pound foolish. He couldn't see it. Some people can't see it. They can't see the strategy. They're arrogant. They got to do it their way. So you let them. But just don't be arrogant with yourself. Just constantly learn. Keep learning. Keep pushing yourselves. Keep educating yourselves. Trust the game. Some of you are waiting too long. You're just getting older. Nothing's happening. Nothing's changing. You're getting older. You're wasting time. I see people come back. They're 63. I should have started investing in real estate 10 years ago, but I'm getting started now. It is what it is. And now is the best time to get started, no matter where you're at, how young or how old. But just stick with it. Funny thing, talking to a guy on a ride along tour on Saturday, he said, "Brian, I put out 30 offers and nothing's come back." And I'm just like, it's gonna click. How do I know it's gonna click? Because of the volume. Volume works in real estate. So I'm thinking if he put out that many offers, the hit rate is just the law of averages. He's gonna hit. Text on Sunday. Got one under contract, just got the confirmation, the deal. But it's not a surprise to me. So if you stick with the real estate, if you go through the process, see, most people won't get 30 offers out. Cool part about the Boots on the Ground program is you can get 30 offers out. You could get literally 30 offers out in a month easily through Boots on the Ground in a month. So your volume goes to the level of a professional. You'll get a hit rate. As a professional, I don't give a fuck what the number is, to be quite honest with you guys. I'd put out 10,000 offers a year. If I decided that made sense and that would get me 100 profitable deals, I'd hire enough virtual assistants to analyze and put out 10,000 offers a year to hit that number if it was profitable. I have no emotional attachment to how many offers I put out versus how many people say yes. I just want the yeses to be good. Most people will quit at 5 offers. They get told no 5 times, they're done. You got to be childlike. Mom says no, ask dad. Dad says no, ask grandma. She says no, ask grandpa. Keep going. That's what the winners do. That's the difference between the losers and the winners. The winners just keep going. Find a solution. Step 2 is marketing strategy. So now that you picked your market, and I'll answer some more questions in a second. Now that you picked your market, you need to choose your marketing strategy if you want to get profitable off-market deals. They're not just gonna fall in your lap. Yeah, that's Vic. That's Vic. He said, I made 32 offers in a month, which I think is freaking fantastic. Just to have the power to make that many offers in a month is crazy. That's a lot. You know how much analysis that is? To make 32 offers in a month means there were also more deals you didn't offer on. I don't like them. Didn't fit my criteria. I say as an investor, you want to make 20 to 25 offers minimum a month to get a good deal. I agree. Vic's mindset, guys, he's got a fierce mindset. That's another cool part about the 24/7 cash flow community is there are real investors in the community. Vic, I would say, is a real investor. He goes to where the money is. He's very locked in. He's very focused on what he's doing. He's very committed to what he's doing. He's very all in on what he's doing. And it's just a winning mindset. It's really just a winning mindset, but that's what it is. Volume offers. He expects to make 20 to 25 offers. If you keep doing that month over month, there's going to be people that told you no 2 months ago that come back. This is how you build up 12 to 15 to 20 deals a year. Very interesting. But pick your market, implement a marketing strategy. You might do the We Buy Houses bandit signs. I've seen that work. I've seen people make 25 to 60,000 just off of bandit signs and then buy multifamily housing. You could drive for dollars. That can work depending on where you're at. You look to see if there's mail, blight, kind of whatever. You can use social media. Somebody scrolling down the news feed, looking at pictures of their grandkids and they see your ad. Hey, I buy houses cash as is, any condition. Click here, fill out a form. Boom, lead comes to you. You start implementing strategies with this philosophy in mind. There's got to be an underlying philosophy. This underlying philosophy is a winning philosophy. I expect to put out 20 to 25 offers minimum to get one good deal, and I'm happy with that. And I can scale that. Good underlying philosophies lead to wins. Now I don't care about every individual offer I put out. I'm not on the emotional roller coaster. I'm making a hamburger assembly line. Get the offers out, boom, boom, boom. Comes back in, cool, fits that screen. Get it in a nice offer range. But the philosophy behind this is, think about a fisherman. If you were a fisherman and you wanted to catch fish, what would you do? Well, you would go out to a section of the ocean where fish are known to swim for whatever reason. It could be currents, it could be different things, seasonal currents, mating seasons, whatever. But you kind of know that information about these locations. And then you would cast a net in the direction, in the momentum, the path of momentum where the fish are swimming. That's what you would do to catch fish. This is also how you catch off-market deals, because deals are swimming. They're transferring from one owner to another constantly, all day, every day, never stop, nonstop transactions. And you need to only cast a net to get in the way of the movement of those deals. So you need to get in front of the motivated sellers. And you shouldn't care how. You shouldn't fall in love with any of these strategies. You should test them, because different strategies work better or worse in different locations. So you should just go in with a testing mindset and rotate through these. Test one, see the results. If you don't like the results, test another until you find a winning result for that market, and then scale it. If bandit signs are working, get more of them. If driving for dollars is working, hire an assistant, make them drive for dollars, more scalable. If the ad campaign is working, dial it up. Go from $20 a day to $30 a day. Scale it up, or open it up to other locations. So this is the mindset you need to be in, of a testing mindset, a testing of nets, the appropriate bait to catch more fish. And you really just need to keep it that simple. You need to keep it that simple. One strategy, one market at a time, one strategy at a time. Pick your market, start testing your strategies, find the right strategy for the market. Step 3, guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribed. Share the content with someone who you want to get value. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Somebody said, I'm interested to know more about the Baltimore market. The Baltimore market is solid. It's a solid market. There's a lot of cash flow. There are kind of lower taxes, lower purchase prices. It's still an early market, but there are a lot of people buying down there. There are people buying blocks. There's some stuff going on that lets me know in the next 10 years, I think Baltimore is going to explode in value. I think you're going to see some 3x returns, some properties that you could buy right now and rehab and be all in around 140. I think you're going to have ARVs of like 280 to 325 in the next 10 years. They're going to really double. Some might go up to 425. And the rents are going to go up from 1,700 to 2,500. So when you're cash flowing $500 a month now, you'll be cash flowing $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month per asset. It has some unique potential, but it's still a step behind the Philadelphia market in terms of development. So as a low-hanging fruit investor, I'm always in the primary market, whatever that is. Why not be in the primary market? The secondary market will develop to the level of the primary market. You can't miss the market completely. Some people would fear, well, what if you miss the Baltimore move? Well, you can't, because as Baltimore appreciates, it doesn't appreciate evenly. Certain neighborhoods appreciate faster, and they create what I would call gentrification pockets, which are like pockets near where there's the A class and the C class are meeting, and new comps are being created in historically C class neighborhoods. And that's where you can buy really cheap and rehab. And those markets unlock over the course of time. They don't all unlock at once. So as you notice a market unlocking, you can find your way into a pocket that is recently unlocking where there will be opportunity. Hey, Brian, can you comment on co-living? We saw a co-living property on the ride along. So one of the unique benefits of these ride along tours, and the crazy part is, it's like the next ride along, maybe we can't see a co-living property. It's tenanted, can't get in, sorry. That's why you got to get out to a ride along like when you can, because the properties you get to see, they're unique. We're always building and finishing properties. Then they get tenanted or they get sold. You don't get to see them anymore. But we got to see a co-living property and kind of really talk through the process and break down the process. I mean, it's good. It can be a good strategy. I think it's good in A class or B class neighborhoods. It can definitely be done in the C class, but I like it. I like it a little bit more in kind of the B and A class as a strategy to undercut studio rentals. I think it has a need, and I think as cities become more dense, you're going to see more co-living. You're going to see less resistance to co-living because people are very resistant to it. The inspectors are, like the city is, even though it's up to code. Step 3, you must learn the cost of building. If you want to be good at finding profitable off-market deals, you got to know the cost of construction. You have to know how long it takes to build a house. You have to know how a house can be built. Can you add a 4th bed into the 3-bed property? Can you add another full bathroom or a half bathroom? Just by looking at it and eyeballing it. You have to know what you can do, because that gives you a competitive advantage. It allows you to structure cheaper deals. It allows you to negotiate better terms. So having some type of construction process, some system where you can evaluate deals, that's what we spend so much time doing in our Done For You programs, is evaluating deals for you guys. So once you know that information, you're able to navigate a deal a little bit better. If you get a motivated seller on the phone and you send someone out to inspect the property, or they shoot a video and you can generally see what's wrong with that property, you should be able to make a very educated assessment of the value or the cost of that rehab. That allows you to instantly find the buy box. If you can find a buy box, like this will make you a good wholesaler. If you could find buy boxes, then you know what to negotiate sellers down to. If I can get them down to 70K, I can mark up to 90 and still sell it to somebody else and carve out 20K a deal. You have to get into the buy box. You have to understand the cost of building houses. This could easily be step 1. And I kind of teach it. I feel like I teach within the course content construction prior to other stages of the process. Construction can be a starting point, but it's definitely something you need for proper deal analysis, I would say, or it's hard to know what you're getting yourself into. So your biggest fear factor as a new real estate investor is learning the cost of building. So you should spend time going through this process, learning the full gut rehab process. which is what we teach. And this is how you know if you need it. Do you know the cost of labor? Do you know the timelines for completion? Do you know the cost of just materials versus labor? Do you know how many guys it takes to do certain tasks? How many guys does it take to plumb your house? Do you know? How many guys does it take to wire the house? Does it take 3, 4? What combination of guys? What do they do? How much do they get paid? Inspections and delays. What types of delays can happen or likely to happen? What are the inspection checkpoints? And then friction and lending costs. What's the friction on the deal? And what are the lending costs? How do they get carried? If you don't know all that information, it's very difficult for you to, even if you got in front of a deal that was profitable, for you to be able to tell it's profitable. You need a process for being able to tell deals are profitable. Part of the reason a lot of people don't get deals because they don't even know what a deal looks like. So you spend your time asking people if it's a good deal, talking to a wholesaler. They're trying to sell you on a deal. Yeah, it's worth $290. They know that shit's worth $220, but they're going to mark it up. You need a process. So guys, if you want more, if you want a process, if you want to learn how to get into the game efficiently, effectively, even in your backyard, or you can piggyback in Philly, on pre-existing operation. If you want to learn more about that, just join me tomorrow night. Reach out. I'll post up a link on the IG, so you'll see it in my IG stories as well. But tap into our Done For You Real Estate Investor training, the easy way. It's like hitting the easy button to scale a cash flowing rental property portfolio in the next 12 months or less without the heavy lifting. If you want a heavy lift, go for it. God bless you and God bless America. It'll make you tougher if you survive it. But most people don't. And it's all about getting one deal anyway. It kind of doesn't matter if you survive I hope everybody survives their first deal. You want to survive your first deal for sure. You just want to make your first deal as streamlined as possible. It is real estate, so anything can happen. That always goes with real estate or any form of investing. Anything can happen. You can put guide rails on things, but anything can happen because it's real estate. But with proper guide rails, there's a lot of ways to be conservative as well. Choosing certain types of properties that are mostly cosmetic, maybe have minimal structural issues, kind of screening properly, having some battle testing to your rental income, taking out vacancy, property management, taxes, insurance, like stress testing your cash flow, doing the right things on your analysis. It'll set you up to have a good first deal, a pretty good first deal. And if you can get one done, you can do 100. If you can even do 10, you can make serious money. I think if you could do 10 deals even, you could appreciate, $100K per property in most of these major cities if you hold for 10 years on a basic 10-year hold. That's $100K per property. That's $1 million. It's possible. Not only possible, but highly likely with inflation, interest rates, kind of what we've been seeing in the market. It's highly likely that assets appreciate. So if you buy, if you buy Baltimore even, and you're all in at 150 and the property, what does it take for that property to go to 250? It's right next to DC, where similar properties are at 850. So it's not difficult to go to 250 in Baltimore. It's just logically not. Just think about it. If you lived in DC and Baltimore was 45 minutes away, you could get to your same job and you could get a similar property as the neighborhoods turn for 250 or 275 versus 975,000 in DC. It's very easy for that property to go from 150 to 250. Very easy. Just $100K movement in this market. So a lot of people who buy, they would just get the benefit of natural appreciation and rent inflation because they are turning this into a renter's nation as well. I wouldn't expect the market to crash. It would be a bit more difficult because this is the first time where the hedge funds own they own most of the major cities, man. They're not going to crash themselves. They didn't own this much real estate in 2008. I'll tell you that much. We need to get that data actually. I'm going to look for those numbers. How much real estate did US hedge funds or just any hedge funds own in 2008 versus how much they own now? I guarantee you the numbers are going to be astonishing. They own like 1/7 of Atlanta. So all of the major cities to plan that World Economic Forum stuff, you own nothing and be happy. That level of stuff. It's going to start to hit these cities. So if you're buying, you're kind of buying alongside the hedge funds. They're going to drive up prices because it's good for them. It's good for their balance sheet. So, you're investing alongside institutions, which is usually a winning strategy if you can align yourself with institutional money. Institutional money will naturally go to the major cities first. And which major cities? The top cash flow cities. Because investors are seeking cash flow. That's what smart investors seek, cash flow. Especially, asset-backed cash flow in strong sister cities. So that's that, guys. If it looks like we have some questions, but yeah, if you guys want to rock with me, tap in tomorrow night, Tuesday, 7 p.m. I'll throw up some links for that. A lot of you are already registered for that. So we'll kind of get into a bit more. But co-living can be a good strategy, guys. You can definitely increase your cash flow with co-living. Some analysts predict that institutional investors could control 40% of the US single-family rental market by 2030. I believe that. In fact, I believe they're very close to that already. I bet you they're already at like 30%, 35% in like many cities. So, think about that. That's propping the market up. It's propping up the bottom. It's interesting. If we don't buy these houses, I don't think our kids will have a chance to. I think it can happen that fast. They'll turn it into a renter's nation unless people get educated and acquire and learn how to control and pass down these properties. So I hope that helped, guys. If you want to tap into any of our programs, you know what to do. Click the link in the description, click the link in bio, tap into the 24/7 cash flow community, and just stay locked in with us. That's pretty much that. Appreciate you guys. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor.